Are you trying to run up my pressure? Tyler. I'd be lying if I were to tell you that I wasn't bothered by this episode. Completely bothered. This was like watching an hour of stereotype theater. I'm just saying. Hey guys, thanks so much for clicking on the video. This is my review for Sistas, season 1, episode 2. I, mm, I, mm, I wasn't happy with this. I was not happy with this. It it literally felt like stereotype theater. I just did not care for it at all. I was really bothered, but whatever. Let's get through it. Andy um, and Karen are on the phone and they're talking, and Andy is going on about this conflict of interest. She's actually in the bathroom. She's left the client, which is Gary's wife, sitting in the chair. And she's in the bathroom, she's checked all the stalls. At least she was smart enough to do that. And she's like, I don't know what I'm going to do. This is a complete conflict of interest. Yes, it is. Um, and they're like, girl, what are you going you mess around and lose your job behind this. But again, that's kind of how karma works. That's the bad thing, is that as far as her career goes, she got it all going on. Like everything is going like perfect for her career wise. But your personal life is in the toilet. And it's because of bad decisions you've made. And no matter how you try to take yourself out of the equation, when you are laying around with a married man, it's a bad decision. And the karma will fall back on you. Married man, married woman, married people, period. I hear people say a lot, it's not me. I ain't got nothing to do with it. I didn't get married. They're married. No. Karma, when karma comes around, she's a bald headed bitch. And when she comes around, she does a full sweep on everybody who's involved. So it doesn't excuse you because you haven't stood at the altar. If you play a part in what's tearing down what was done at that altar, oh, trust me, karma is going to spank your knees too. You can tell yourself anything you want. Just watch. Watch your life and watch what's going on. And this is what Andy is going through. Andy's, like I said, her professional life, everything is above board. Her personal life is in the toilet. And it's getting ready to dip over and screw up her professional life. Anyway, moving on. Um, Andy goes back to her desk. She's talking with the wife. The wife basically puts it down there and lets her know, you can't pass me off to somebody else. I don't want anybody but you. You were so good with my girlfriend that she said to come to you. You were like a therapist to her, and this is what I'm looking for. I don't want any other partner in the business. I want you. And she goes on and she starts to tell her, yeah, he's a liar, he's a cheater, and an abuser. Now, you definitely know he's a liar. You definitely know that he's a cheater. And as far as an abuser, he is abusive all the way around mentally. I don't know what his physical situation is, but it seemed more of a mental when she was explaining what was going on. It's a mental. He's straining her mentally and he's straining you mentally and putting down good D and a path. And that's the bad part because you knew everything she was saying was true. Anyway, then she let her know I've hired a private detective, and she's basically, when I say she's hot on this trail, she is so completely hot on this trail. She knew Andy's address and all of that. And I was sitting there saying, that's just kind of who I am as a person. I am always listening to the conversation that's not being had. And I was like, what's up? What's up with the wife? Does she know who Andy is? Does she know who Andy is? This part of the show, I'm here for this. Like I'm here for this part. Um, Interesting. And this might be the only piece that's actually holding me on because Sabrina's story has got me ready to turn the TV off. But anyway, so then we go with Zach and Karen. Their story is just ridiculous. And I have to say this: Zach, when I said, he didn't jumped into bed with her. She was weak. They had sex, but when she wake up, she back to it. I want you out. This, that, thing, and the other. But with their story, her flip flopping, it's cool. I understand it. Like, it's a whole issue about I want you out. And he's like, oh, I can't believe it. He thought because after he laid it down that everything was going to be fine. No, it's not fine, bruh. It's getting old. Like, we've been through this over and over and over. It's old. Like, I'm tired of you and the bull. You got to go. So that's the whole thing. And I'm going to say this about Zach. He wasn't interesting to me. The whole interaction with him and Danny last week, I told you I don't like Danny. And his whole interaction, I was like, whatever. But I have to say this, and I'm just going to be honest. Listen at Zach. Zach is not interesting with his clothes on, but when he takes them off, Zach is very interesting. God knows. He is very interesting with all that tattoos on his back and all this going on. He's very interesting when he takes his stuff off. That I'm just gonna say that. I'm gonna leave that one out there. Y'all hit the comments and put it where. I don't know that it's enough to make me keep watching the show though. But anyway, so that's that. So I kind of can understand some of the weak moment that she's having, but that gets old after a while too. Anyway, so Karen ends up calling Sabrina, and then this is back and forth. She's like, girl, don't call Danny and don't get Danny involved. So we got this whole thing. And I was this was where we start rolling into like the corny thing. It's like, whatever, y'all. Round and round and round. Sabrina and her coworker. This is where the problem comes. I'm having a problem now because this coworker and Sabrina and all of this stereotypical gay garbage. Tyler, for real? It was so overdone to the point that it didn't come across funny. It started to come across offensive, standing from a LGBTQIA spot. It went to a point. I mean, come on, y'all know I'm like the easiest to get down. I love a laugh. I love a roast and a gag. I'm cool. With laughing at situations. I'm cool. I have a very dark sense of humor. I'm cool with laughing at me. I'll make a joke about me and crack up before any of you all can do it. And my feelings are not that soft at all. But throughout this hour, it went, and it just carried over from last week, really. You know what I mean? The way that they're doing with this character and this whole thing with Sabrina and the coworker and the little guy friend, and she got these flowers, and then the little gay guy is just, he's like hating on her, and it's like so over the top, with the hating, and I'm like, his behavior to her would definitely perpetuate that whole stereotypical gay men versus black women stuff. So I was really not feeling that because I didn't like how he was treating her at all. It's y'all supposed to be good Judies, and you like riding her and slick shading her and you're like literally trying to make her question herself and her self-worth. I wasn't here for none of that. I wasn't here for none of that because, see, I am a gay man, 47 years old, and I've had many female friends, and I ain't never preyed upon none of my female friends to try to make them question their worth. That's not how I get down. And when I see that, it's offensive. If I see a gay individual doing that to a female, it's offensive. Just like all that dumb satire about, like, you're going to tell me about how, well, it does happen. People play games, but those are phobics under in disguise that sit and talk with this person every day, and y'all back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, y'all good Judies, but you don't understand nothing basically about him. Are you playing stupid to everything? Ain't nobody sitting up talking to no queen every day, all day, in no boring ass job, such as in a bank, and you don't know more about behavior than that. It was just, I don't like it. I don't like it. And it had such a tone of like he didn't really like her. And it was real more so on his part than hers. Because she seems, they build her, she's a very pretty girl. She's very, very likable. She is a very likable, her character is a very green, likable character, and they make it like he basically preys upon her. I don't care for it at all. And no, I'm not okay with just not liking him. I don't like it. I don't like how it's written. I don't like what it implies. I don't care for it at all. I really don't. And I really struggle with turning this off. Like I'm struggling with this, y'all. I am. Y'all leave it in the comments. I know y'all will. If y'all feel like I'm taking it too personally, or if I'm reading too much into it, you all, hey, let's have a conversation. It is what it is. Look, don't get down in them comments and start talking crazy. I said let's have a conversation. I didn't say go down there and feel like you could attack me, because then y'all know better. And you know what's going to happen if you try to pull that. Let's have a conversation. I'm definitely open to a conversation. Am I being too soft? Am I being too touchy? I'm okay with it, but don't go down in them comments playing them games. We not getting ready to have no basketball wives back and forth. We having a conversation, or we won't be having a conversation. So I'm just putting that out there before we even get started. Respect. You go in them comments, respect. Respect me, I'm going to respect you. I don't even know why I have to go through this. We've been doing this for over 6 years. You all know. You already know. I'm not going to disrespect you, and you're not going to disrespect me. Let's have a conversation. Anyway, moving on. See, I feel like I don't even really want to go through the rest of it. This is where I'm at with this show. Like, I don't even really want to go through the rest of this, because this is what it was. Like, I was feeling some type of way about this whole little thing. Just got me, anyway. But I continue watching this. That's about y'all. You know, people said, please continue doing the show. I'm trying. But yeah, Tyler done rubbed me real wrong with this. Anyway, okay, so Andy goes over to Karen's job, and I couldn't figure out what it was that Karen actually did. She's a hairdresser. Now, I had to laugh myself. Y'all catch y'all Karen put the woman under the dryer and then just left and was gone for hours? Where they do that at? Unless she ain't really a hairdresser, she just an assistant. But assistants don't get to walk around like that either in the salon. Come on, Tyler, stop. Come on. Anyway, see, and I might be just nitpicking, but yeah, she put that woman under the dryer, walked on out of there, and ain't never go back to work. Whatever. Anyway, so then we got Sabrina and Calvin. They go to lunch, and he starts explaining himself a little bit and find out more about him. He is a kid, and he basically met he's a kid, and he has a crazy baby's mama. She's crazy and stalkerish and all these different things. Again, his sexuality is that question. Um, and then in comes this gender bending queen. And then he gets up and they're all, this was so over the top. Again, all the stereotypes. Um, he comes in and they're like, oh, hey, blah, 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 blah. And then they kissed on the lips. Come on, Tyler. Come on. Really? Even, come on, I have plenty of friends. Plenty. Males. Straight males. Plenty of them. And they treat me like gold. We don't have none of them issues. I have better friendships, trust me, with a lot of guys than I do with some girls. And the respect is boom, 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 boom. We ain't got no problems. You know what I mean? But ain't nobody kissing me on the lips and all. I wouldn't even accept it from them. Kissing me on the lips for what? Get out of here. What are you doing? Like, it was a whole lot. I was like, who are you writing this for? Because this is some bullshit. But anyway, so she ends up like easing out. And then again, the gay individual was just as mean to Sabrina. Why? Why is that written in there like that? Like, this is what I'm getting from this show. All gay people who are effeminate are mean to females. What is that? He was so mean. Kept messing up her name. Oh, hey, girl, Miss Trina, or whatever. No, I didn't like none of that. I didn't care for that. Tyler, you gonna make me get you. Me and you, we ain't seeing eye to eye on this, bro. This is, what you trying to say? Are you not aware that you did this? Are you not aware that you painted us in like this real ugly light here? Real ugly. I ain't like that. I was offended. And I would even have a problem with girls, girls or young women saying that they've been offended by the treatment, the way it's written. How can you not be offended by the way that Sabrina, in like every scene we've seen Sabrina in at this point, she's been being mistreated by gay folks. Everybody that we've seen on this show so far who is representative of LGBTQIA, rude as hell, and petty, and for no reason. What the hell is really going on? Anyway, moving on. I'm trying to get through this. Anyway, so all of that gets switched around. She get on away from him and goes on. She goes on. She called other girls she meet lunch. They all end up together, which makes no sense. But they all end up together at the same restaurant. It doesn't make sense because, first of all, Danny works at the airport. Ain't nobody that works at an airport able to make it out of the airport and back to the city where their girlfriends work at to meet them up for lunch. It just doesn't happen. Where's the airport that close or that you can actually stop it, Tyler? This is just stupid. It's stupid. It doesn't make sense. Anyway, they go into this whole little thing. There was some little funny stuff there about Danny in the past having it out with some guy that she misjudged, and she did, she misjudges and she goes too far. They were saying about how she almost broke the man's mama's hip and all this stuff. And it was funny. That little stuff was funny, but I still don't like her. She's obnoxious, and all of that. Then we had another run-in with her and Zach. And what was that about? Like, she was a bit overly sexual with Zach. I didn't like that either. Because I wouldn't care how close me and a girlfriend are. Don't flirt with my man like that. Don't flirt with none of my exes like that. She took his keys and put them down in her bosom. And then he's like, listen, I gotta go. You stop me from making money, this, that, thing, and the other. You know how she picks his Zach. And he's like, I'll go down there and get my keys. And she like, I dare you. And he's with the reach for her. She gonna say, boy, don't do that. I will fuck you down here on this floor like a rabbit right in front of all these people. And I was like, whoa, wait a minute, hold up. I ain't like that little exchange either. I ain't like that exchange. And trust me, no fellow gay or female that I'm cool with, I have no conversation like that with my man. Not at all, because we would not be friends. I didn't like that either. I was like, that's God. I know for me that breaks a couple of the girl codes. I was like, Tyler, I don't know about this. You all over the place with this. You a shitty mess with this right here, Tyler. A shitty mess. And I'm telling you, from me to you, you got a shitty mess going on here, Tyler Perry. I don't like none of this. Anyway, let's get through this. So Sabrina go back to work. Her and the co-worker at it again. It's just, I'm not even going through all the details. Offensive. It was just every one of them scenes was just offensive to me. It was all these stereotypes, all of this bullshit, all of this gay guy being mean to this woman. I just wasn't with it. Anyway, moving on. So Andy ends up going back to work, talking to her boss. He ends up offering her a raise because when he said in the last two cases, she made $6.5 million for the firm, and her cut was $800,000. I was like, whoa, girl, who negotiated your goddamn money? So that bothered me. I was like, what? And then he turned around and he told her, he had offered her a raise. Then she was telling him, I can't take the case. And she was trying to basically, she told him kind of, in so many words, what it was. He basically told her the importance of that client, how it needs to get done, and is it all worth it? Told her to go home. She's like, are you firing me? He's like, no, but you need to go home and figure out about what you're going to do and how you're going to handle this case, because you're going to need to handle this case. And then told her we never had this conversation. So whatever it is, at this point, I done flipped the script on you. You ain't never going to really make the money that you're owed at this firm. And you going to get down with it, and you ain't going to have no integrity, or you ain't going to be working here. Now, that was about the realest thing that I saw. It was real shady. But karma done flipped this shit over. At this point, you ain't never going to get a fair shake there. It ain't going to be worth, this job ain't going to be worth having. So I was like, wow. I said, she got herself in a whole mess. Karma's going to stroke you down. I was like, that's terrible. After that, we end up seeing this whole scene with Karen being at the store, grocery store, and she runs into this guy named Eric. He's very cute, but they ended up here. This was another cornball, stereotypical scene. They had this conversation, and it was like a conversation where he kind of was hitting on her a little bit. She was looking at a married couple and how happy they looked. He gonna tell her, trust me, it ain't all that what it's cracked up to be. And she's like, she gave the whole angry black woman thing to him. And then he told her, well, that's why I date white women. And I was like, here we go again with another stereotype. Okay, Tyler, now what? So then she goes and gives him the whole spiel about black women versus white women. It was done in very much Tyler Perry fashion. I said, is this a Medea play? Because it feels like a Medea play. And then all these women stopped, and they were all standing around looking, and they were the amen section. And then they was like, yeah, tell them, girl, rate them, girl, yeah. And I was like, this is so gay. All this gay jargon, all of this, yeah, girl, and all of this. It was just corny. It was corny, and it felt very much like a Medea play. I was like, this is getting worse by the moment. Anyway, then she goes outside. She's sitting in her car eating ice cream, and the guy comes out, goes up to the window, and he, apologizes to her. Then she invites him to sit down in her car with her. I said, where she live? Where you live? That you offer strangers to sit down in your car, and then you eat. You don't even know them from a can of paint. Y'all eating with the same spoon out of the same ice cream. Listen, I'm officially done. I'm getting out of here. I'm getting off of this. Then Danny literally sees Gary at the airport with not even with his wife, but with a whole nother chick. But she don't know because she don't know about the wife. But it's a whole nother chick. And that's where it ended out at. And I just had to go. Listen, I don't know. Let's have this conversation. Let's have a conversation. Um, let's have a conversation, and I'll decide from here. I don't know about this one, y'all. I don't know about this one. This is a comments. We'll deal. We'll roll with it after comments, and I'll talk to y'all. All right.